Today's Sharp Saturday video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to find out just how sharp 3 different eating utensils are. These are all kind of unique, reasonably new gadgets on the camping outdoor market. The first one is the Gerber Compleat. This is pretty neat. The second one is the Kabar Tactical Spork. And then finally, we're going to take a look at the TOPS Knives F.O.R.K IT. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for trustworthy information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. So like I said, I've got 3 different camp cookery, whatever you want to call it, and I thought it'd be kind of neat to compare these and actually see how well they not only to show you all the details and specs of each one, but to see how well they function on some actual food. So I've got a little bit of soup, which will check out the spork, the spoon part of these sporks. I've got some rice and some steak cooked up, so we're going to check those out. But first, I want to say again a big thank you to the folks at Big Daddy Unlimited for sponsoring these Sharp Saturday videos. Big Daddy Unlimited is changing the way you and I buy outdoor gear. Whether it's things that go bang, things with blades, or just all kinds of other cool outdoor gear, Big Daddy Unlimited has the best pricing of anywhere I have found. And they're able to do that by being a membership site, which allows them to avoid having to charge the minimum advertised pricing that a lot of manufacturers make other people charge. The way it works, the membership is just $10 a month or $99 a year. But if you go to survivalonpurpose.com/SOP, I'll put that in the video description as well, you can get your first month for just 99 cents. Try it out. See if you like it, see if it makes sense for you. It definitely makes sense for me. I've been a member for a couple of 3 years. It saves me money every single year. So again, that's survivalonpurpose.com/BDU. And thanks again to the folks at Big Daddy Unlimited for sponsoring these Sharp Saturday videos. Now let's talk about these 3 different camp cookery eating type tools, whatever you want to call them. We're just going to go in order. I'm just going to tell you the specs reasonably quickly, and then we'll get to doing some of that eating stuff. Okay, first we'll go ahead and talk about the Gerber Compleat, talk about the specs for this one. This is a little bit different than the others, you can see. And what's cool about this is it basically is a camp, really nice camp cooking system setup that allows you to do several different things. So it comes with 4 pieces. It comes with a spoon, this long tine fork, this 4-function tool, and this multi-function little spatula type tool here. The overall length of this thing is 7 3/4 inches, and the weight altogether is just 2.3 ounces. So it has this spatula which has both a serrated edge and a silicone edge for your, not scratching up your stuff. It's a high temp nylon with a silicone overmold. Has a long tine fork, a deep basin spoon, and these are very light. I don't know, they may be titanium, they're at least aluminum. And a multi-tool, which features a bottle opener, a veggie peeler right here, and we'll check this one out, a serrated package opener, because a lot of those, a lot of stuff, hot dogs, for example, come in those plastic packs, and a can opener. So you can use that for both a can opener and a package opener. And so there's that part. And the MSRP on the Gerber website is $29. You can usually find it for a little bit cheaper than that. Let me show you what is cool about this though, because it does allow you to make some tongs, which I think is pretty cool. And the way you do that, you just take the fork or the spoon, probably the fork most likely, put it up here like so, slide it in like so, and you got yourself some tongs, which I think that's pretty cool. Oh, somebody's got them a hot rod, don't they? You just put all this back in place like so. We'll put that under there. I think it goes under there. I don't know. And then it just kind of slides in like so. Yeah, there we go. Just like that. So it goes back together pretty easily. And nice little compact, easy to store package. So that's the Gerber Compleat. Next, we're going to talk about the Kabar Tactical Spork. Man, somebody's having fun over there with that hot rod. So the length on this one is 6 7/8 inches. It is 1.6 ounces, and it has a pretty cool setup here. You pop this thing apart, so not only does it have a little spork, but it's also, you pop it off. It's got a nice little blade. It's all non-metallic. It's made of whatever they call their plastic. And the blade on this thing is 2.5 inches long. It also has a limited lifetime warranty. This one is made in the USA. And the MSRP on this one is about $857, usually around $650 street price. One thing I will say, somebody pointed out as I showed this on a gift video, I think, it's got a couple little holes right there. And those, they said that those can get food in them. It's hard to, and it could, you know, get rancid or whatever. I've not had that problem, but I just throw mine in the dishwasher because what those are there for is this thing seals really tightly here when you snap it together. So you got to have some way to get the air out, and those let the air out, I think. So anyway, that's the Tactical Spork. I keep this in my I guess briefcase or construction pouch in case I go somewhere and I need to eat something. They don't give me a fork. Sometimes I've been to Chipotle, they don't give me a fork. So anyway, there's that. And the last item, and this is the most expensive, and it's the maybe the most multifunctional. This is the TOPS Fork It, and you can see it is in a neck knife sheath. You can also see that the sheath allows you to use it's got a bottle opener. As you can see, the sheath allows you to use the bottle opener without taking it out of the sheath. And the reason that's important is because this one has a real blade on it. This is 1095 steel. It has a 6.5-inch total length, and the blade length on this thing is 2.63 inches. Comes with this Kydex sheath, and it weighs just 1.5 ounces. With the sheath, it weighs 2.5 ounces. And the MSRP on this one is about $100 on TOPS website, but street price is somewhere around $65. So considerably more expensive than these other two, but it's also potentially a real, you know, 1095 knife, and we're going to check that out as well. I can tell you that it fits okay in my right hand. It's got some little jimping up here. There's a little bit of lightning holes here, a little kind of hand grips here when you're using it as a knife. And I guess if you're left-handed, it probably fits even better because the bowl fits right into your hand there. So we'll check that out. We may even balance test this one just because it's steel. But anyway, oh golly, look at that. It's also stinking sharp. So here's a tip for you. When you put this thing back in the sheath, don't make sure your thumb is not down in that little slot there, because it'll, by golly, stick the crap out of you. Okay, anyway, there's a little safety tip for you. So anyway, that is kind of the specs and details, and a little minor demonstration of at least some of the capabilities of these things. And since they're all related to food, why don't we get some food down here and see how they actually work? So, I've got some soup here. I've got some steak and some rice, and so I would just check these things out. So one of the complaints a lot of people have about different sporks is you can't eat soup with them. So we'll start with the soup. Let me get my hand out of the way. I got to tell you, I'm a little scared of this one, to be honest with you. So what's good about it is if you don't want to use hold on to the knife, you can keep the Kydex on it and use it like a spoon. So that's what we're going to do. Got some, my wife just made this. It's a lentil soup. I'm not a big soup eater, to be honest with you, but I want to compare these things and give you a honest assessment of them, let you see for yourself. So we'll start with the cheapest one, the Kabar Spork, and we'll just see how well it does on some liquidy soup. So let me get this up where you can see. Can you see that? Okay. Let's see. Pretty good. A decent sized bite. You know, this is kind of a less liquid soup. It's more of a thicker soup. So we'll try the Kabar now. Again, let me just show you. Okay, can you see that? Now, the Gerber, it has a much more normal spoon. I'm sure it's going to be fine. You see, obviously, you can get a lot bigger bite with that. As far as spoons go, I think this will be the order. Obviously, this is going to be the biggest, deepest bowl, the Gerber. Let me hold them up like this where you can see it. Next, I think the TOPS has got the next bigger bowl. And finally, obviously, the Kabar is a little smaller. So, from a spoon version, at least from the aspect of a spoon, the Gerber wins out on that one, if it's a contest. Not really so much as a contest. I just want to show you what they're capable of. So the next thing I thought I would try to do, I've got 3 carrots here. I mean, I've got 2 carrots, and they're raw carrots, so they're going to be a little more difficult, maybe to spear than a cooked carrot. So we'll start back over again. We'll go with the Gerber first and see if it's able to spear the carrot. So it speared the little piece of carrot, so it's pretty firm. No worries there. We'll try the tops, see how well it works. And okay, it did. Took a little more effort to spear it, but it worked. Finally, we'll go with the Kabar, which is plastic. Had to push down pretty good, but it speared it as well. Crunchy carrots. I don't really like my carrots overcooked. I really prefer them raw. So, obviously, if it'll work with the soup, it'll work with the rice. But I found, for me, this Kabar makes a perfect sized bite of rice. Obviously, the tops does just swell. You didn't know you were tuning in just to watch me enjoy a meal, did you? I just want to give you the full benefit. So this one is a really round bowl. So I had to really push my upper lip down into it to get it to clean it out. This one, because it's so narrow, is even kind of harder to do that. So you might leave a little stuff in the bottom of it. You can turn it over and lick it, and then we'll go with a fork this time. Gerber's, again, more traditionally sized. So, here's that. Now, we got a big old steak here. We'll start with Gerber. The Gerber, one thing the Gerber doesn't really have is a real knife. It's not really, it's more of a cooking tool than an eating tool, but it has this serration here, so, and it's got a good fork, so I thought it'd be worth trying to see if it'll cut some meat. So we'll just give it a shot and see. Hopefully you can see that from the and yeah, it does. Okay, not bad. We got some fat in there. I'm not a big fat eater, but and the fat's kind of, once you get to that kind of stringiness, it doesn't want to cut it. Does not want to go through that. That's kind of the gristle or something on the edge. There we go. And see, the fork works. And that's good. So, at least as far as a knife, you could use this, but it really has what I like about it. One thing is it's a great functionality of being able to use it for tongs. That's pretty cool. I got to give them a pretty A for effort for that one. I really wish that they had serrated one side or the other, sharpened, one of these to make a knife out of it. Then it would be pretty much a all the way, really comprehensive thing. So next we'll take a look at this Kabar Spork, because it's the only ones that is a plastic. It's a plastic blade, and what's good about it is it's two pieces. So you do have a fork and you do have a knife. You can hold your meat with a fork and cut it with a knife. Let's just see how well that works. Okay, how well this thing, oh man, it cuts really good. I'm gonna cut across this gristle just to show you that little fat, gristly kind of fat on the end that I always cut off my meat because I don't like chewing that rubber band stuff. I know you need fat in a survival diet, but I get plenty of fat, trust me. So it cuts well. The Spork does good enough. Look at that, man. Would you look at it? Oh my goodness. I like this a lot, by the way. Just a handy to have a Spork with a little knife, a real knife separate. Because that's the thing with a lot of Sporks. Even the ones that have a serrated edge here, you gotta have something else to hold your meat down with, typically to cut it. Usually it takes a fork to hold it and a knife to cut it. So even the Sporks with the serrated edges or the sharpened edges, you almost need two of them. So there's that one. Speaking of needing two of them, let's check out the tops now. I'm gonna get my hand out of the way with that thing. This is cool that Leo, I think, designed this one with a neck as a neck knife. So it's neat that you can actually, this is a metal knife, but again, there's that situation. You need another fork or something to hold your meat with. I know you can use your fingers. I'm trying to keep from getting greasy, but so let's see how well this thing cuts now, because it's a by golly sharp. Oh yeah, look at it. Oh yeah, it cuts like a knife, as Brian Adams would say. Wasn't that Brian Adams? I don't know. Oh yes, I mean it cuts through this steak like butter. And then, okay, so then I guess you can turn it around, being careful to stay away from that blade there with your finger. There you go. That's really, really good. So I thought we'd do is, for this one at least, go ahead and do a little extra testing on this one. So, because I think that is, in my mind, not only is this the most expensive, but I think it is probably the most versatile as far as if you're going to carry something with you to eat, but you want a multiple use. This is actually potentially a real knife. So let's take it back to the old drum top over there and get to doing a little bit of regular real knife stuff. We might even test the balance on this one. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be really easy to test because it doesn't have a smooth handle on it, but we might do that. Stick around and find out. But let's get to the old drum top right now. Okay, as you saw, I think all these tools did a pretty good job as far as the eating, and food type testing. The thing I did want to do, since this one does have, it's actually 1095 steel, do a little bit of regular knife stuff with it just to see how well it works, and we'll wrap this up. I got about 15 minutes of battery left, so I'm going to really hurry because that'll boil down to about 30 seconds of video. So let me shift you down here and get going. But actually, before we do that, let's do a real quick redneck sharp test. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, it passes. Okay, so I got some wood here. I don't know what this is. Let's just see about carving some curls. I think this is oak, so it didn't carve really well. The wind's blowing enough to blow these curls around, though. I know that. I can tell that. Let me break that out of the way. We're almost done. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I'm almost out of battery juice, like I said, but it's doing okay, to be honest with you. I mean, for a spork, come on, man. So we got that. Man, the wind's blowing. Although it does, this is some pretty aggressive little jimping there. So next, you know where we're going now, right? We got to try this because I got some fat wood right here. So let's see what it does with some fat wood. I mean, it's going to carve just fine. Okay, so it carves the fat wood fine. Let's see if there's anywhere on here that I think will scrape, because I'm not really. TOPS doesn't usually have a lot of sharp edges to scrape with, and this is no exception. Sometimes the jimping might get something. Really, I guess you can kind of saw across with the jimping, and it'll give you a little bit of stuff like that. But let's just see now. One more thing we'll try. You know where we're going, right? I don't think this is going to strike a ferro rod, though. And I'm not going to mess the blade up trying that. So there's that. Oh, man, I about stuck my finger again. You got to keep your hand out of that little notch there, I'm telling you. Okay, so I got to do this, right? Even though, just to prove that at least it could be useful as a fire prep tool. All right, there we go. Whatever. La 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 la. Yippee-ki-yay. So there's that. Chuck Norris can play the violin with a piano. Since we've already been a little silly with this knife, let's just get a little more silly. And we need to check the balance on this, because if you're going to use something to eat with, it's very important that it's balanced. And as you may know, here at Survival on Purpose Worldwide headquarters, we maintain a state-of-the-art, cutting-edge knife testing facility. And one of the things we like to do with all fixed blade knives, and I guess this would qualify, is to test the balance on our, there it is, balance, orientation, and rotation device there. And this one, mine, by the way, needs a lot of renewal. I just haven't gotten around to it yet in 2021, but let's just try this and see. We're going to try standard, and then I may wind up doing a reverse tip test, but let's just see what happens. I knew this was going to be a difficult test. By the way, I'm sure TOPS does not recommend this. Okay, that's 10 times or so with no stick. I think 10, I don't know, 8 or 10 times. Let's give it one more shot. Well, maybe I need to do this. Oh. Okay, we're gonna call it sort of balanced. So let's wrap this up. Which one's my favorite? I don't know that I have a favorite. I think I like each one of them maybe for different reasons. As far as the Gerber Compleat, I really like the tong thing. I think tongs come in really, really handy when you're cooking. So I think that's handy. I like the fact that it has a regular spoon and a semi-regular fork. This would, if you needed to get by with just one, this could be a kind of a good spork. Nice little tool. Got the grater on it. I wish there was just a little bit, one of these was a little bit sharper that you could cut some steak with it, so cut some meat with it. And that's really the only drawback to that. And I wish it was made in the USA, but it's not. So anyway, the Kabar Spork, man, I really, really like this tool. It's a cheap little tool. I mean, under $7 online. Usually, I think the list is like 8 something, but it gets the job done. It cuts meat. It works well as okay as a fork, and okay as a spoon. It's got enough of a bowl in it that you can actually eat soup or eat liquid with it. It's not going to take as big a bite, obviously, but it makes it very compact. I was actually a little bit of rambling here. I was at SHOT Show Blade Show 4 or 5 years ago, and I happened to run into and get to meet Mr. Ethan Becker, who he designed all the BK knives and stuff, and I think this is his design. And he was showing me this, and this was before it really had hit the market. And I thought, my first impulse was, yeah, that's kind of cheesy. But then when I started looking at it, when he showed me the blade, I thought, wow, that is pretty stinking cool. I mean, it looks like it would work. And so I'm glad to get a chance now. I bought this one so I could show you. By the way, the folks at Gerber sent me this, and TOPS sent me this one, but I bought this one. One thing is, you need, if you get one of these, and I recommend it, by the way, you want to make sure that it's got these little tabs here. If you got your hands in the wrong place, you'll think you can't get it apart, because those little tabs that lock it all together will kind of stop you from getting it off. And the harder you squeeze, the harder it is to pull. So there's that. But this one works really well. I like this. And it's just very lightweight. And one other thing I really like about the K-Bar is it is made in the USA. That's always a plus for me. Speaking of made in the USA, obviously the TOPS F.O.R.K IT is made in the USA, like all TOPS knives. And pros and cons on this one. Again, the bowl of the spork is really good for liquids. The fork is not super sharp, but it's sharp enough to work. And the knife is, by golly, a knife. This is a real knife blade. It was a little difficult to check the balance on it, but it did finally get tested. I kind of wish it had something up here, had a sharp spine on it to strike a ferro rod, but you can fix that really easily with a file. And again, the only other, I guess the only con or maybe thing you need to think about is if you're going to use this to cut meat, you need something to hold it down with. But you could whittle you out a stick, a fork, I'm sure, to do that if you're in that situation. But I like the idea of this, having this, because it's got the versatility of a real steel knife, and it gives you an opportunity to have both a way to eat food and to cut food, and also maybe carve some wood if you need to, start a fire or anything like that. And it comes in this cool Kydex sheath, and you got to be careful, but when you close it up, keep your thumb out of that, or your finger out of that little slot there. So anyway, there you go. I know this has been a little bit of a different Sharp Saturday video, but I just thought it'd be it's time for a little something different. And hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it's given you a little better idea of the capabilities and the pros and cons of these 3 different tool sets in this case. And again, thanks to the folks at Big Daddy Unlimited for sponsoring these Sharp Saturday videos. And again, if you just go to survivalonpurpose.com/BDU, you can check out the first month for just 99 cents. See if it makes sense for you. And right now, as you know, there's a lot of people out of stock on a lot of things. But if Big Daddy Unlimited has it, I would almost guarantee they're going to have the lowest price anywhere you can find. I've never been able to find a lower price on anything than Big Daddy Unlimited. So anyway, that's enough of that. As always, thanks for watching Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.